guys, welcome back to episode 2 of season 2 here at Nottingham Forest. Firstly, of course, let me say thank you for your patience in waiting for this second episode. I updated the community tab with a couple of posts in the meantime. For those of you that weren't aware, I was in Canada for a few days playing FIFA 23, and I returned home and brought a gift with me. COVID that had me flattened for about 10 days, so I'm still easing my way back into content creation so as not to overdo it. I don't want to run the risk of just completely knackering myself out again, because there is obviously the risk of doing so when recovering from COVID for everybody. I know that a number of you will have had it already, so no streams as of yet, but videos will be back now daily, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll be back streaming too, both with the recording of this save and with the Formula 1 stuff for the second channel too. Thank you for your patience, really appreciate it. Thank you for your feedback as well on the last episode. We had loads of comments telling me what you think I should do in this transfer window. Another development, the shirt's arrived. So we have the shirt now with us, of course, with the now becoming tradition Chesnoid number 10 on the back. So we'll be cracking forward now, wearing this in every single episode. Unfortunately, Forest fans, it's not a great shirt, I have to be honest. I've definitely had quite a few better in the course of our FIFA career mode history, but it's here, it's on, and we're pushing forward with it. So, the main piece of feedback without any sort of transfer in or out was moving Cornet to, well, centre forward as it is right now, which is a great shout from you guys. Of course, we lost Taiwo at the very end of last season for 7 months with a knee ligament injury. Cook is still out injured as well, and Cornet is going to fill that void at centre forward, which means that Richards can come in and start on the left of our back five. We're retraining him as a left wing back, and he'll get first team football right from the off. Banging, great, superb. That saves me about 20 million quid, because we were having a bit of a conundrum about striker and the amount of other positions we wanted to fill. Please do, of course, make sure you drop the video a like to let me know that you're continuing to enjoy this save, and let me know your continued feedback in the comment section down below, especially after having a bit of a break between videos. It would really help re-kickstart the channel and the content and pushing it to new people, etc., and pushing it to those that were watching that may well have tuned out with the lack of upload. So please do show your support on the video. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. So we're looking for a centre back, we're looking for a cam backup, and potentially some centre mids as well. We have a number of players we want to move out to, whether that be loan or permanent. You guys have been pretty resolute in the fact that you think we should just keep Dean Henderson, so I'm just going to keep Dean Henderson. That's that one sorted. So we're looking for centre-back and centre-mid primarily, potentially with a cam as well. I had some names on my shortlist in the last episode. I have since added a number more to it. Of course, they still need to be scouted, but we will get the information back on them, I think, before the first Premier League game of the season. So Tanganga is who we're looking at. Jaloy, Branthwaite, Ahmed Hodzic, who has previously played for Nottingham Forest. I believe in real life he's now signed for Sheffield United, but we'll have a look at him here because he's still at Malmo. Trevor Chalobah is a potential loan. Abdou Diallo is a potential loan. Thomas Araujo from Benfica. Of course, we've picked up a player or two from Benfica already. Nat Phillips from Liverpool. Axel Tuanzebe as well, considering there was the real-life Forest link with James Garner last year. We're looking at Tuanzebe here for this save, for this season. James Garner, I don't think I'm going to go for in that centre mid spot. He's not quite offering the sort of quality that I'm going to need. But we're also looking at players like Ampadu and Crowell. Conor Gallagher, I think we are going to call our interest on. But Grinitz could be pretty decent. Another player we've added to the list is Vranch. Billy Gilmore could potentially be an option. You guys are still potentially keen on Morgan Gibbs-White as well, although Marcus Tavernier is still on the radar, and we'll wait to see what he looks like. Jesse Lingard has recently signed in real life for us on a free. We made him available for a free in the save when we created it. Of course, we updated loads of transfers, and he went to Bournemouth on day one. So he signed at Bournemouth. They've subsequently come back up to the Prem, but I might be open to signing Jesse Lingard as a backup cam if he's not too bad. And then at striker, I'd be open to signing Josh King as a short-term backup. Danilo's not quite good enough. Emmanuel Dennis has been linked in real life as well. That's something I'm not sure about at this particular moment in time. And then Popescu is a player that we could certainly retrain at Cam and could very much do a job there. It's a case of whether he's almost too good to play a rotation role. We shall wait and see. Plenty of names there to be looked at. We're of course waiting until that first game of the Premier League season against Watford. It's Watford, Palace and Arsenal in the month of August for us before we push forward into the rest of the season. So I'm going to take things game by game, day by day, bit by bit, and hopefully we can get all of the business done we want. I did mention that we do have some players currently listed for transfer. We've had an offer come in here for Drager, who's a player we are looking to permanently move on, although I am not looking to have a player go the other way. So I will negotiate this as just a fee, which I have now been able to do. £3.365 million, and they're going to accept it. So he might well be on his way to Levante. Actually, I did kind of want that previous menu so I can show you who we've got transfer listed. So on the transfer list is Drager, Graben, Cafu, Silva, Nuno da Costa, Will Swan, Finn Back, and Lolly as well. Then we've got a couple others on the... I say a couple others. A handful of others on the loan list too. So there's a lot we want to do in this transfer window. It's a case of whether we'll be able to actually do it all or not. Confirmation that Drager has been sold. That was quick, simple, easily done. An extra chunk of finances into the club. So we have about £40 million to spend, which is definitely enough to bring in two or maybe three signings of enough quality to improve our overall team. So that's what we're going to continue to look to do. Let me also say thank you to Ryan for joining the Patreon in the past few days as well. Very much appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you. Welcome to the gang, my friend. Right, let's see what else we can do. Scout reports shouldn't be too far away now. We've arrived on match day against Watford, and there have been some small developments. Those developments being Mbeso has gone out on loan. Elliot Brown, the young goalkeeper, has gone out on loan, and Joe Lolly has finally had someone actually cough up his wages. He's gone to Başakşehir in Turkey. So we have a couple of youngsters out on loan now that we hope will come back having grown quite well. Lolly is a player we were looking to move on anyway because he's not of the quality needed, and we're looking to replace him as a backup cam. Now, I am still waiting on some scout reports. As you can see, we've got a number back already, but still a handful awaiting their arrival. So I'm not going to commit to anything yet. Whilst we wait on those other scout reports, I'm going to go and play Watford on the opening day of the Premier League season. Oh, would you believe it? We've been drawn in the Carabao Cup against the club that I sponsor in real life, Cambridge United. Unbelievable. You love to see it. Unfortunately, we won't be playing that game, but I always love coming up against Cambridge in saves when I'm not managing Cambridge, and most of the time I'll try and play said game, but on this occasion it's just not going to work because we've got Watford, Palace and Arsenal today, and we want to make sure we finish the transfer window in this episode. So we'll go and play Watford. I'll make sure their starting lineup is alright, and then we can jump into the game. So Richards is going to make his debut, Nico Williams is going to make his debut, Maxwell Cornet will play up top at striker for the first time, and hopefully we can have a positive start to our second season at this level. Here we are then down at Vicarage Road. Dave Maduka Okoye in goal, Ngakia Kabasele, Samir and Kamara at left wing back. Nicolas Seiwald at CDM with Kalu, Lauza or Loser, Bucher and Sema on the left, with Emmanuel Dennis up top through the middle at 78 rated. Watford, of course, relegated in real life, and we updated that in this save. They have since bounced back and are now at Premier League level once again. So this is our second season at this level. This is their first game back at Premier League level. Let's hopefully show them exactly what the league is all about. Looking for Richards out wide. Is he going to go again? Omar Richards, he is. It's a brilliant interception by Kabasele to ensure that we don't find him. Yates. Go back here to Maxwell Cornet. And then Ramos will look to spin the man. And Gonzalo Ramos starts us off the way that we wanted to be started off. A 1-0 lead in the opening game of the season. I always really love it when the first goal of any season scored in any of our games is for us, not against us. Just kind of mentally sets you up more positively for the season. If the first thing you do is take the lead in a game, rather than the first thing you do is go behind in a game. It just puts you on the front foot from the off. And we are on the front foot from the off. Sorry, Watford. 1-0 to the Reds. Dennis out to Kalu. Looking to get around the outside of Omar Richards. She's done well. Back here to Ngakia. And Kalu, loser. That's bending nicely. It's saved nicely by Big Dino. Quickly became a key part of this team last season. And you would probably imagine going to be the same case again this year as well. Corners come in from loser on that far side. And it's not great. Samir underneath it. Gonzalo Ramos tries to get the clearance as far as he can. Kalu rides the challenge that probably was a foul. And Nico Williams will complete the clearance eventually. Ramos going to look down the right-hand side again for Nico Williams, who's beaten his man and has a number in the middle to try and pick out. Just dink it. And there is Brennan Johnson. And there was Okoye in the way. Brilliant stop from Watford's man between the sticks. We've had saves at one end. And now we've had very good saves at the other as well. Manuel Dennis has men running on the left-hand side. He just can't quite seem to get it to any of them. Does now find Buka, who has support. And here's Loser in the box. A 1-2 with Souza. And Manuel Dennis is the man that arrives late, very late in the first half to find them their equaliser. Brilliantly worked, expertly played about, pinpoint accurate passing, marking non-existent, and a top finish. We're level. Option in the middle is there. Same up. Tried to go out wide, it didn't work. I've got changes waiting to be made to try and freshen things up and help us go for the dub. But we might be able to get ourselves the dub, or at least close to it, without the need of them. O'Brien looking for Maxwell Cornet. Brilliant interception by Cabasele, and unfortunately with 5 minutes to go now. Looks like time's going to get away from both sides, looking to try and get victory here. There's been a second goal elsewhere. If we're not sure which way that second goal might go in this game, I'd rather there were no more goals than there definitely is one more in this one. Again, having to rely on Dean Henderson to make the save. This one not quite so flamboyant, but still necessary towards that top corner. And Loser delivers. And Buka heads over the bar. 3 changes I made were Hayder, Da Costa and Biancone. Cornet now moved out to the left-hand side. But with seconds to go, really, I don't know as we're going to get the chance to get the ball up the other end quickly enough. O'Brien looking for a Hayder. Spins away from the challenge. 2 minutes added on, and we're at the end of them now. Nuno Da Costa needed to find that pass. Looked to turn to find Gonzalo Ramos, but couldn't quite get the pass away. Close, but not quite. A good equalising goal from Watford. Fair play to them for that. But certainly continuing to show us that more improvements are needed in this team if we're to really kick on. I have all of my scout reports back, and I have some favourites. I would pretty much like to try and loan in Tanganga from Tottenham if possible. If they're not open to that, then I might try and loan in Twanzebe, although Tosin Adarabioyo looks like he's pretty damn solid, to be completely honest. So I would probably look to maybe buy him outright rather than loan. Joloi also looks like he could be pretty decent. At 78 rated, he is the highest rated centre-back that we'd be looking at. And at 6'4", he's an absolute man-mountain too. In midfield, I really like the look of Jacob Ramsey as that kind of explosive, good on the ball, and to be fair, decent in the finishing as well. All-rounded midfielder. There's also Vranchk, who is linked in real life, and again, is decent all-round, but not quite at Jacob Ramsey's level. Tavernier looks decent too. If anything, there are too many options. Jesse Lingard could probably still do a job. It's a case of whether... no. This team will not sell the player as he's too important for the club. Well, that makes that decision up then, doesn't it? We won't be getting Jesse Lingard in. I wasn't sure whether I was going to or not. That clears up that one then. So I think I'm going to try and buy Jacob Ramsey. And then I'm going to try and loan Tanganga. And we'll see if we might be able to get that done in this window. Will still leave us the opportunity to do something for next season as well. I'm quite happy to pay whatever they want wage-wise. I would be playing Tanganga as centre-back. Key to point out, I'd be retraining him as a centre-back and playing him centrally, not on the right-hand side. Crucially, as obviously currently he's down as a right wing-back. And then Jacob Ramsey, I would very much like to try and buy, please, Aston Villa, if you don't mind. We could hopefully get him for under 20. I'll offer them exactly what he's valued at. And we'll see what Stevie G is willing to negotiate with. He wants a straight player exchange for Maxwell Cornet. No, but Cornet's valued at 17 million. So that says to me that they value Ramsey at about 17 million, which they do, because I've offered it and they've accepted. He's on 35.5 grand a week, which I would imagine I'll have to offer him a little bit more. He does want important as well. If he'll sign rotation, great. If he doesn't, not a problem. Not a problem. Nice to see that he's got a real facing game as well. 4 years is the deal we'll offer him. And he will probably go straight in the lineup. He basically wants what he's on at Villa. Quite happy to do that, mate. In you come, pal. So that's a centre mid. And hopefully a centre back sorted then as well. It does mean that Cook will drop off the bench and O'Brien will go in there into the rotation role and Ramsey will come in. But that is certainly a significant improvement in that position in the team. I really like the look of Jacob Ramsey and I think that he could probably grow very, very well for us. And because he's got decent finishing, he could also push further forward in the team as well. Although we can obviously use a Hayder or O'Brien in that cam role too. But Ramsey is certainly the better suited of the three to filling in that cam position. I might be open to maybe loaning in a striker as well, but at this stage I'm not sure I'm going to push for that. We'll wait and see what happens with the centre-back first, and maybe I try and loan someone like Popescu or maybe even Morgan Gibbs-White for that cam role. He's got 75 finishing and he can sit on the bench as well, and then Brennan Johnson maybe could move further forward if I need him to at striker, and then Morgan Gibbs-White or someone of his ability can come in off the bench to have a part to play. I'm going to take Mariba off, take Jimmy Garner off. It looks like hopefully we will get Tanganga at centre-back. Kral does look pretty decent, to be fair. He's not that mobile, 69 acceleration, but 76 sprint speed's certainly decent. But getting off the mark is half the battle in FIFA, and unfortunately he doesn't get off the mark that well. So we'll wait and see how things develop. But we're headed now towards the game against Crystal Palace, where hopefully we can pick up more points. Confirmation that Tanganga has agreed to come to us. We have a new centre-back. He'll come in and we'll change his position shortly. Crystal Palace have bid 7 million for Brian O'Hader, which has kind of caught me off guard a little bit, because I am sorely tempted to accept that and potentially go and get one of the others on my shortlist instead. We have the younger Vranch, who's linked in real life and is higher rated and plays a similar role. So I might try and negotiate this up to, say, 8.5-ish, if they're willing to go that far. If they are, or even if they come back in at like 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, I will just accept. And if Hayder can agree a move to go to Crystal Palace, then I will look to get Vranch in from Wolfsburg, and Asta will join us, and we'll actually make more changes to the central midfield area than I think I was planning on. I'll think about it, Scott. I don't think I'm going to throw you in ahead of Panzo for this game, but certainly you might well start in the game against Cambridge midweek. For now, though, I think I'm going to remain unchanged from the side that drew against Watford. I say unchanged. Tanganga is now in on the right-hand side of the defensive three, and Jacob Ramsey makes his debut on the right-hand side of the midfield two as well. So nearly unchanged from the previous game. Vicente Guaita in goal for Crystal Palace, though. They've got Jordan Tezzi, David Martinez, Mark Gay and Tyrek Mitchell as the back four. Kuyate holding with Will Hughes and Michael Elise central, with Ilan Kebal on the right, Wilf on the left and Odson Edouard through the middle, up top in their 4-3-3. Crystal Palace were level on points with us, I think, after the first round of fixtures. I think they drew and we drew. So now let's hope that we win and they lose. And worked away nicely by the Crystal Palace backline. It's an end-to-end fixture so far, but nothing to actually show at the other end when we get there. Looking for Cornet through that gap. Players around me. Did he get caught there? This referee seems to be quite lenient. That's not the first time that a challenge has been made like that. A player has been caught. It's affected his momentum and nothing's been given, whether it be with a slide challenge like that or a tug of an arm. The first one probably won't get seen in a highlight because there's not really anything on the end of it. But that was well saved by Dean Henderson. And we need to rely on our goalkeeper to keep a clean sheet. Again, Elise delivers. And underneath this is Gonçalo Ramos and we'll clear it away. I feel like I should have had a free kick there on the edge of the box. With Maxwell Cornet looking to break in behind. But as it happens, it's Crystal Palace that came the closest. And have come the closest to scoring the first goal. But Dino is determined not to let them. They're going to go short from this corner. Zaha does do so. And Cabal is there. Nico Williams does brilliantly. Now, he's not going to have the legs to get completely away from Wilfried Zaha, evidently. But Wilf can't stay with him too well. Cornet will get this all the way out wide here to Tanganga. Now, unfortunately, Nico Williams is on that left-hand side. But as long as we take our time, support will be here for any given man in possession. Maxwell Cornet has his goal now. And lead we will before half-time. Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0. And that goal is thanks to you guys for telling me to put him up top. Yates. Through to Cornet. Ramos. That's a nice ball. Keeper's going to come. Is he dinked? Wait, he got a hand to it. It's not enough to keep it out, though. That's 2 before half-time. Beautiful finish from Gonçalo Ramos. Last season, we found goals not that easy to come by if it wasn't Taiwo. But Ramos is stepping up so far this season, as he did when we brought him in January. And we're getting goals from that left-hand strike partner as well. Waiter probably should have done better with that, to be honest, but I'll take it. We lead by 2-0. Both strikers scoring again. If I can get goals from slightly further back in the team, then we could really count ourselves as top half, if not maybe even Europa League, or Europa Conference League at the very least, pushing this season. Need Brennan Johnson to step up with some goals in that cam role, and hopefully, as he continues to improve, and now Jacob Ramsey, slightly more forward-thinking, and more dynamic as well than O'Brien, will come in and really show us some improvements offensively. Still relying on Dino at the back, defensively, obviously. But so far, he's doing the business, and we have a 2-0 lead now. It's loose from Palace, given away. Brennan Johnson into Ryan Yates. Maxwell Cornet making the run through. He's on his left. We know it's decent. It's got the power, but not the accuracy this time. Still just 2-0. Elise. Tricky little player, Elise, isn't he? He's had a very good game here. And he nearly got himself an assist. Odsonne Edouard offside as it happens, but excellent creative play from the man through the middle. We are potentially looking for a cam, a backup cam. Elise is probably a little bit too good to come in as a backup though, isn't he? I would have thought. I'm unsure at the minute, but it looks like Hayder's on his way out, so we would need to fill that void in the squad. And I think we have a couple of options to do exactly that with. But wait and see what happens on that front. For now, Dino is keeping his clean sheet. 16 minutes to go. Corner for Palace. Elise, the man who's been impressing to deliver the corner. And it's actually not that impressive. There's Eze off the bench. Picks out Wilf. Brings it down well. Was he onside? Was questionable, but a question that's clearly been answered by the lack of a flag. Sheku Kouyaté, not the man I'd imagine is going to be whipping in the deadly balls. Wilf will probably go solo. Actually doesn't. Elise Mitchell. Wilf. There you go. Then he goes solo. Firing off the shot. But Henderson right behind it again. Whilst he's been threatened. None of them have been overtly really dangerous. He's had to make saves. But none of them have been... Wow. The pace there from Jonathan Panzo. Wow. You would never... None of them, the efforts of Palace have had, you'd have said that the keeper really had a lot of trouble getting to the save. Like, they've all been relatively straightforward for him. Panzo, can he drill this in here? He can, you know. And Gonçalo Ramos very nearly rounds it out at 3-0. Waiter does make the save at the other end this time, perhaps making up for that failure of an attempt earlier on. Brennan Johnson delivers the corner. Ramos is up with a header, and he's not stopping this one. It is to be 3. It's 2 for Ramos, and 3 points for Nottingham Forest. We might have started with a draw away from home, but back on home turf, it's a dub for the Reds by 3-0. Out wide there to Cabal. Panzo looking to step in, can't get there. He is playing at left wing back now, Panzo, as we've shifted things around with some alterations off the bench. Eberechiesi going for it. And Henderson was at full stretch there, but thankfully on this occasion didn't need to make an extravagant save because the ball went wide. That was flicked on by their man, actually, but not that it matters. A clean sheet on debut for Japhet Tanganga. And a relatively solid performance from Jacob Ramsey as well, although he wasn't that heavily involved, to be honest. That is particularly pleasing to win that well at home. Again, obviously having to rely on our goalkeeper, but no team gets a decent win without having to rely on their goalkeeper. Ryan Yates has now completed his change to an overall centre mid rather than a CDM, which is good news for us. We'll try and improve a bit of his dribbling skills to make him a little bit more agile if possible, or at least get his balance up. As you can see there, his composure, ball control, balance and dribbling will be key in that central area. Although, like I say, if a Hader leaves and we do bring someone else in, then maybe Ryan Yates becomes a centre-back for me again, and we let Scott McKenna go. Yates' position change now done, as you see. So the squad is certainly developing, and we still have yet more money to be able to develop it further. It's just a case of making the decision as to what to do where. Lorient bid 5.5 for Alex Mighton. He's loan listed, not transfer listed, so I obviously want to keep Alex Mighton longer term. A loan bid for Tyler Cook, though, is great news from Braga. That is a deal I'm certainly open to doing and hope that does go through. And Crystal Palace have now purchased a Hader from us. So we have a hole in our central midfield area, but it's a hole we are looking to fill. And now I'm torn because Tavernier could come in and be both a backup cam and centre mid at the same time, which would be very, very good. I don't know if I want 2 players, 1 for each role. I don't know as I need 2 players, but I might want 2 players. Oh, it's a real conundrum at the minute. If I can loan, I can't loan Branch. So that's a no there. To be fair, he's finishing at 72. He's better than Tavernier's. So I might just look to buy Asta Vranch. I think that's what we'll do. And we'll reinvest the money from a Hader in a player that is 4 years younger and of the same rating, if not slightly better. Hader was 73, I think, wasn't he, when we sold him? And 8.4 with an 8% sell-on clause. Deal done, Wolfsburg. Thank you very much indeed. We'll get him in. He is linked in real life as well, Asta Vranch, so it's not out the realms of possibility that this might be a deal that gets done IRL after we've actually done it here in the save. He unfortunately wants the important role as well, which is obviously something I can't guarantee him at this stage, but hopefully he'll grow and will force himself into the starting lineup with some good performances. Wage-wise, that's perfect, absolutely wonderful. And Vranchka's going to come in, and that is another great move for the club. So I think I'm done. I think. Or do I still want that backup cam? I may still want that backup cam. We'll take Smith off here, and we'll obviously throw Vranch in. He's got 72 finishing, Vranch, so he definitely can play there. O'Brien can play there too. He's not terrible in the finish with 64. And Jacob Ramsey, his finishing is 81. So I'm pretty happy with that. I might need another striker. Might need a lone striker because we are still looking to sell Nuno da Costa and a couple of others as well. Swan, Graben, we did have a bit accepted from Pex Voller, but he turned them down contract-wise. So maybe a lone striker is all I have left potentially on my list then. And we didn't really have any other strikers on my shortlist. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do in that regard. I might wait until January to bring in that backup striker because we have so many players that can do a role there in the meantime. Larea will stay, thank you very much. He will continue on as a solid squad player for us. So, yeah. Oh, there we go. A bid for Swan as well, which we'll just straight up accept right off the bat. Hopefully, Cook goes out on loan. We've got bigger games coming up, Nico. Don't worry, mate. You will be playing in the game against Arsenal. So we'll rotate here with the 4-2-3-1 and a fully rotated 11 other than Henderson at goalkeeper. And that looks like a relatively straightforward Cambridge United side. Well, O'Neill probably shouldn't be out on the right-hand side, but it's not too much of an issue. I don't think it's going to change the result too much. Maiton with one, Cook with the other, and we're through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. I am sorry, United. Pains me to do it, but do it we must to maintain our attempts at becoming a club that can win as many trophies as possible here in this save. So I don't think I'm going to look to loan a striker at this stage, but maybe later down the line. We'll delegate this as just a loan. Maybe in January we will look to get a lone striker in, which is something you guys can certainly have your feedback on. So maybe I'll do that. I'll hold off on doing anything else striker-wise until you guys have offered me some more feedback. Oh, it's not going to go to Luzerne. Cook has gone to Braga though, so that is good news. And hopefully Trikoupis will agree to go to Empoli for a year on loan as well, and we'll get everybody out on loan that we want to go out on loan, other than Alex Maiton at the moment. Right then, Arsenal away next. Now this is the first proper test of the season. Playing against Red and White on this occasion. Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Tomiyasu, Ben White, Saliba and Nuno Tavares. Bukayo Saka, Lucas Torreira, Thomas Partey, Emil Smith-Rowe and Ødegaard sat behind Gabby Jesus up top. Through the middle for the Arsenal. Had a great pre-season for them, and we're hoping that, in this save at least, he doesn't have a good start to the real season. We'll wait and see how he gets on here. We are, as we were in the last one, I believe. Yes, indeed, we are. Good. Ødegaard. This is already a lot different to anything we've faced so far today. Gabby Jesus finds Emil Smith-Rowe. Lying down in front of him, and away we go, but only as far as Bukayo Saka. That was a nervy start, and still it could continue to get worse. Thomas Partey going for it. That hit near Karte, seemingly on the arm. Bukayo Saka could have shot. Not that he needed to. Feeds Gabby Jesus, who feeds Martin Ødegaard, and Arsenal lead by a goal to nil. And you can rather obviously tell from the opening highlights that that's been coming. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Williams inside to Jacob Ramsey. We'll look to get ourselves back in it if we can, as quickly as we can. Cornet caught on it though. And as Arsenal were dominant offensively in those first 10 minutes, they started the next set of 10 minutes dominant defensively as well. Bukayo Saka played in here, brings it down brilliantly. I just quite simply couldn't slow down in time. Gabby Jesus in the box, and Thomas Partey gets there first. It's 2-0 to the Arsenal. There's still a ways to go to break into the top 4 or thereabouts, isn't there? There's a definite difference between us and some of the better teams in this division. Bukayo Saka looks for a ball into the middle. Gabby Jesus somehow wins there. Ødegaard finds Smith-Rowe. Back to Martin Ødegaard. Back to Smith-Rowe. And I'm getting taken apart. Arsenal just cutting through me at will right now, and I can't really do much about it. Unstoppable. Still, it falls kindly for Arsenal. Martin Ødegaard to Gabby Jesus again. Across to Lucas Torreira. Saka, Ødegaard, Saka, Ødegaard. Just the way that they move the ball about, it's just unbelievable, Arsenal. It's 4 in the 35th minute. I don't think we're quite this bad, but it might be a case of me being perhaps slightly rusty after not playing for so long. But I didn't feel rusty against Watford or Crystal Palace. Arsenal are exposing me here. Tanganga into Ramsey. Yates is making a good run forward. Cornet's turned well. He's on his right. And he's, as far as I'm aware, very heavily left-footed. Ramsey looking for Yates. Turns on it. I'll look for Ramos. And Thomas Partey intercepts. As much as I've tried at one end, We have very much failed at the other, to be honest. Failing at the other end, the opposite end too. Here's Bukayo Saka looking to get behind Omar Rich, just trying to chase him down. They're to make it 5-0 before half-time here, Arsenal. As if we're not embarrassed enough. Oh, we nearly were embarrassed yet further. It's just 4 at half-time, but it might be more come full-time. Intercepted by Niakate. One back again. Joao Pedro confirmed as going to Bayern Munich, apparently. Losing the possession there, Arsenal, as they're trying to build for a 5th. Yates lets the ball get away from there. Gabby Jesus, I try to reach and get to it. Panzo's in the way. And we will scramble it clear. Yates. Across to Richards. Not been at it here. As much as we bossed Crystal Palace, we have been bossed on this particular occasion. Cornet with good footwork there. Was the intended pass. Jacob Ramsey from the edge of the box. Jacob Ramsey. Oh, Ramsdale nearly let that bobble free. That was awkward for him. Tavares, Smith Rowe. Thomas Partey's already scored 1. Gabby Jesus has their 5th. It's taken a while and it's coming. But they've phoned in another. And it feels like we're phoning in a performance here. 5-0 to the Gunners. Shot us down, haven't they? Thomas Partey to Sambi Lokonga. Somehow it falls free. Back for the Arsenal. And it's 6. As happy as we were with the result against Palace and the performance in the transfer window, still work to be done. They get really lucky. I just couldn't get it under control. My man's spinning on it. Not actually able to slow his momentum down, and unfortunately they've stolen it off me. And they've scored again. Arsenal knocking us for 6. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to take that on the chin, really. Branch comes off the bench to make his debut. Not really the sort of game that you'd want to make your debut in, really, but I just wanted to add some fresh legs on to try and get something out of it. Even just a consolation goal, which evidently we weren't able to get. I had 1 shot. They had 9. I think that pretty much sums that game up, really, doesn't it? Transfer deadline day just around the corner. As we say, not planning on doing too much at the moment. We will reject the offer for Joe Worrell, as you guys would like him to stay for the time being. We're 11th, though, after 3 games. And to be fair, I don't know as really we should have expected to be on much more than 4 points after those three games in the league. Next game in the Cup has been drawn, and it's Manchester City because yay. So things aren't going to get any better in the Cup, but hopefully they can get slightly better in the league. Biggest deals so far: Goretzka to Manchester City, Gerard Moreno to Atletico Madrid, and Rafael Leao to Barcelona. There are still 10 hours, now 9.5, now 9 left to go on transfer deadline day. Drakupis has gone out on loan, which is great news. And a bid for Ryan Yates from Lazio of 11.7 million, which I will reject for now. But we certainly will be looking to allow Bowman to go out on loan for a year. That would be great if he can go to Mechelen in Belgium. That would be bloody lovely, mate. And we'll see what else happens in the remaining 8 hours or so. Biancone, a transfer bid from Portimonense in Portugal, plus João Veiras, a 69 rated striker. How about no? Plenty of interest in our team this transfer window, hasn't there? Crystal Palace have already signed Brian Hayder from us. Now they'd like to take Alex Maiton on loan for a year. Absolutely. We'll be able to keep tabs on his progression as well. And fingers crossed, that is a loan move that sees him perform very well and get some decent growth, because he could certainly be a player, or certainly is a player, I'd like to utilise quite a bit later in the save. You can see how busy Leicester have been so far in this transfer window. No other bigger deals gone through as of yet for the top deals tab, but you can see that there's been a lot of business elsewhere. Maiton has gone out to Crystal Palace now. Leeds have offered me 6.2 million for Scott McKenna. I'm going to say no to that for now. We'll keep McKenna at the club for the time being, but I might be open to letting McKenna go in January. We have a number of centre-backs at the club, but for now I'm going to keep it because we've got a couple of others out on loan. Now, if Mbeso comes back next season and has grown well, then Mbeso can come in and be one of my backup centre-backs, and we can sell McKenna. But the minute, McKenna's going nowhere. Sorry, he's not on the transfer list. I don't think he's on the transfer list. So I'm not really open to letting him go. Have I got McKenna on the transfer list? I don't. I do have players like Cafu and Xande Silva, Nuno da Costa on the transfer list, but nobody seemingly interested in any of those guys, annoyingly. So with 1 hour left to go, £1 billion has been spent. Still bids. Now Anderlecht come in for Nuno da Costa, but there's not going to be enough time left in the window for that to actually go through, annoyingly. So hopefully someone will bid outside of the window. We can get that done. Still no change in those 3 biggest bids. So let's show you what everyone's done so far this season then. So Arsenal, Jovic and Mats Hummels in. Martinelli and Gabriel out. Not that it's really affected their overall performance, has it? Jacob Ramsey's joined me from Aston Villa. That's their only business. Brentford, Christensen, Welbeck, Provedel and Fleming in, with Ivan Toney going out. Intrigued to see where he's gone. Webster and Trossard out to Brighton with no incomings. Burnley have signed 4. Schmid, Norda, Dawley and Bertarame, with Taylor going out. 1 signing in at Chelsea and Milan Skriniar at centre-back. Blanco, Perez and Hayder in at Crystal Palace. Palace. That's Lucas Perez. Not Lucas Perez. Oh, what's his face? Who used to play for Newcastle. I'm absolutely blanking on his first name. I apologise. You know who you know who I mean. Okafor, Martinez and Papelu in at Everton. Iosi Perez. Well done, brain. Yeah, Yerry Mina and Branthwaite out at Everton. We did have Branthwaite on my shortlist. He's only 71 rated. I decided against it. Leicester, as you saw earlier, very busy. Alba, Kramaric, Canales, Mancini and Rafa in, with Perez, Pereira, Fofana and Tielemans going out. Potentially even more in. Kimpembe in at Liverpool with Matip and Gomez out. So it's centre-back o'clock at Liverpool. City, Tagliafico, Goretzka and Lagos, with Walker, Gundogan, Moreno and Delap out. Akanji, Diop, Roberto and Soucek in at United, with Rashford and Luke Shaw going out. Emre Can and Victor Sigankov coming in at Newcastle, with Almiron and Joel Linton going out. We obviously signed Richards, Ramsey and Vranch for 35.6 and made 15.6 of that back, with a net spend of 20 million. Surridge, Drager, Lolly and a Hayder leaving us. Beto, Manafa, Grifo, Ceballos and Romarinho in at Southampton, with Walker Peters, Elyounoussi and Diallo going out. for Fofana, as we saw in at Tottenham. Saival, Buka and Pereira Lage in at Watford. We played against Saival and Buka in that last game. And Sarr and Joao Pedro going out. West Bromwich Albion doing a little bit. West Ham doing quite significantly more. But I think weakening themselves overall, I would have said. Charles de Ketelara in at Wolves is good. And you imagine that's Joe Gomez in there as well. So Wolves having a decent window. That defeat to Arsenal isn't going to do our goal difference any good. But we are 11th, as we previously mentioned. Our goal difference is -3. Thank you, Arsenal. But I'll show you the biggest transfers of the window in this save so far then. So this season, you saw the top 3. Yuri Tielemans has gone to Juventus for 75.5 million. Pau Torres to Napoli. Alexander Isak to Leipzig. Skriniar we saw. Kimpembe we saw. Koke to Bayern Munich. Danny Parejo. Houssem Aouar to Inter Milan is a decent signing. Martinelli went to Leverkusen, as did Gabriel, both for 50.5 million. Intriguing. A couple of weeks apart in the deals, though. Urian Timber went to Sporting for 50 mil. It's a big splash from them, although they had just made 50 million from selling Palina to Inter Milan. It is Joe Gomez to Wolves. Jovic to Arsenal, as we mentioned. Gaia to Catalara. Diop, Sofiane Diop to Manchester United for 46.4, presumably a Marcus Rashford replacement. Tapsoba has gone to Bayern München. Longlay's gone to Monaco. Ricardo Pereira left Leicester to go to Dortmund. Carrasco has also gone to Signal Iduna Park. Lisandro Martinez going to Barcelona, not Manchester United. Estupinian, Rashford went to Leipzig for £43.1 million. Kyle Walker went to Barcelona. Zielinski to Wolfsburg. Gundogan went to Real Madrid. Eden Hazard to AC Milan. 31 now. Eden Hazard in this save. El Chucky Lozano went to Valencia, sorry, for £36.6 million. Sigankov is rated quite highly. Can't tell exactly, unfortunately. Luke Shaw went to AC Milan, as did John Matip. Jared Bowen went to Leverkusen as well. Leverkusen splashing the cash in this window, weren't they? Akanji was £32.5 million for Manchester United, and The smallest one, £31.7 million. Pablo Fornals from West Ham to Bologna. That will do us for today. Transfer bids coming in. Niakate, that's going to be a no. Panzo, that's going to be a no. And, well, guess what? Scott McKenna, that's going to be a no, pal. Unfortunately, transfer talks broke down for everyone else we were trying to sell. But never mind, it is what it is. They just came in a little bit too late. We shall hope to still sell them between now and the end of the season. And we are looking for a backup striker then, probably on loan for 6 months in January. Although, by the time we get to January, Taiwo will be fit again. So maybe just a backup striker to sign. Sell Nuno da Costa, try and get Lewis Graben out the door if we possibly can. Well, that seems easier said than done at the moment. And then we'll see what we can do from there. But the squad is smaller now than it was, certainly. But higher quality than it was, certainly. Join me tomorrow for another one. Everton, Leicester and Brighton in the league with Manchester City in the Cup, as we look to get ourselves into that top half and hopefully further forward from there still. That's all for this one. Again, thank you for your patience in waiting so long for another video. Apologise it's been so long, but I'm sure you understand why. That's all for today. I will be back tomorrow with more. Bye-bye.